We have a first question from Twitter, and here it is. Success requires execution, IQ, and people skills, but in which order and how distributed between those?
Well, I'm not sure that it's that precise, but I sure as hell like people skills. I think building an organization, building a team, the idea that Jack Welch is the hero of creating all this value is silly. Getting great people in all these jobs, it's a team that makes this thing happen. And so building a team is your strongest suit. And you've got to love your team. You've got to want your team to be promoted. And when you're coming up, the biggest problem I find with young MBAs, at first, the job is you shining, raising your hand, having the answers. They want to do that all the time. They just got out of school. They want to show you how smart they are. Now, the transition to manager, it all changes. It's about growing your people, not you. You grow from the reflected glory of your people. So it's all about making them flourish. I like to use the line that your job is walking around with a can of water in one hand, a can of fertilizer in the other hand, sprinkling it on the seeds and watching them grow. You'll get some weeds, and you've got to pull those weeds out. So everyone's not going to flourish, but you've got to be thinking about all the time, loving to see your people thrive, loving to see them get promoted. It's a real turn on. It is what management's all about. It's about bringing to people great lives, great futures, changing their family's life. That's a turn on. It's a big deal. That's what you've got to think about. And you've got to make sure you're creating an atmosphere. We used to have a statement, and I use it now in the 18 companies that I manage these days. We want you as an employee to be happy to be here, but ready to leave. And that puts a lot of pressure on the management to create an atmosphere where people don't leave. If we're always telling you, look, if you're not happy, you got to leave. We want you flexible. We want you ready to leave. The managers have to work their tails off to create an environment of success and excitement, or else that people will leave. And that's a big deal. That's one of your jobs, to create this pressure on the organization that people are there because they love it, not because it's the only place they can be. And you want people who love to be there, who buy into the mission, buy into the values, and are happy to stay, but will leave if they get some jerk manager who doesn't behave in the right way. So it's a big deal. And we do the same thing at my school, the Jack Welch Management Institute, which is an online school we started where we put enormous pressure on the faculty. We have no tenure. And the faculty, if they don't perform, the students are their customers. And the students rate them twice a semester. Are they learning? Are they getting the stuff they want? And if they're not the first semester, the teacher is assigned to another class. And then if he does it again, we say goodbye to the teacher, not the student.
So they're not bringing their old slides to work.
Old, tattered, yellow-ended pages of notes that they taught in 20 years ago. No. This is a changing world. Everything's contemporary. You've got to have contemporary thinking.
Are the teachers happy or terrified?
The teachers that excite students, energize them, love it. And they're rewarded in the soul with praise and in the wallet with money.
This is basically the stuff with singing contest also. When in family they say to their daughter that you sing so beautifully. And they go to idols and sing like that you never heard before. And then they're surprised that, oh my God, I can't sing. But and this is something that you have seen in
Look,
companies
I think
also.
every one of you in this room who manages people has a responsibility to be sure those people know where they stand. And you have a responsibility in your organization to know where you stand. And your management can't leave you surprised by anything that goes on. You ought to know what your future is, where you're going. If you do this, what'll happen. And your people should know. They shouldn't wonder about you. So in my case, I would talk to my people, and I'd encourage our whole organization. Not everybody did it, but I would take a small piece of paper, and every 6 months I'd write down, here's what I like about what you're doing, and here's what you can do to improve on a piece of paper. We'd sit and talk about it, face to face. And finally, sometimes, don't forget we have more CEOs than anybody else in America's ever had, working for other companies, the chairman of Boeing, the chairman of Honeywell, the chairman of all these companies. But nobody ever left because they were surprised. They always knew where they stood. And you don't have to fire anybody when you're transparent. They know when they're not delivering. You've been talking to them for 2 years about it. And then when they come in, they say to you, what's my deal? What's my severance? What happens to me? Where do I go? What's up? And you don't have to be cruel. You're not firing. You give them time. And people respond to knowing where they stand. Too many people say, I'm too kind a manager to tell the person that they're not doing the job. I'm not a mean person. No, what do they do then? Tough times come to Finland, come to the US. The economy's down. It's weak. The boss says, we got to cut $10 million to survive here. You better get rid of some people and some costs. You walk into the room and you talk to Mary and you talk to Bob. First, Mary. Mary, I'm sorry, we're going to have to let you go. Oh, Mary looks up. Wait a minute, why me? Why am I going in this layoff? Oh, Mary, you're not very good. You're our worst employee. And Mary said, but I've been here 31 years and nobody ever told me. How many times have you heard that? How many times have you heard that? That's what you got to avoid. You owe it to everybody, not in a recession when they can't find a job, not when they're 52 years old and are less hireable, but all the time to be telling them so that they have a chance to grow and flourish elsewhere. That maybe they had a bad boss. Maybe you weren't that good a boss. Maybe when they get out, they'll be able to do something. But that's an important part of a manager's responsibility.